Live struggle legacy. It's a whole movement. Hey everybody, it's your boy MP, Live Struggle Legacy, and welcome to the Live Struggle Legacy Podcast, Season 2. Now, if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification button, drop a comment. If you're listening to us on a streaming platform, make sure you leave us a review, hit the follow button, and share with anybody you think would be interested in what we have to say on this platform. All right. So now today I have another very special guest, other than my brother. We've been rocking 20 plus years. Orlando Padron, a.k.a. Papo, a.k.a. Mr. Raider World. Say something on your show. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So before we dive into Papo's live struggle, I always like to start with some stories. So I'm going to tell a couple stories about my bro. And so I'm going to let him tell you his story, but I'll just say that my brother has a military background, right? Marine Corps. Thank you for your service, brother. Oh, come on. And so when we were kids, that wasn't even on the radar yet. And we were, running around like hoodlums. And so there's this story where I knew, or at least I should have known, that Orlando was destined to become a Marine. Are y'all ready for it? So we used to hang out in this it was like an underpass. It was like a bike trail that went underneath the underpass. This is in South St. Pete, right by 34th Street South, US 19, and like right off of like 38th Avenue South, right? But we used to hang out in the underpass, and you couldn't drive a car there, so we would park at these apartments where we probably weren't supposed to park, but we're kids, we do what we want. And then we would walk underneath there, and nobody would fuck with us. Like cops weren't coming. We just hang out under there and smoke our little weed and drink our little drink, and that was our little hangout spot. But we did that for like years, like for a good portion of high school. Well, and one day we're back there. Now I used to carry around this big ass boombox with 2 subwoofers on the end, and I just had it stacked up with these batteries, probably $100 worth of D batteries in it. Right. And I used to bring it everywhere. We used to be funky. So that was like the party, and I was always like thinking I'm the DJ. So we're out there hanging out. We got in the boom bars. We're smoking. We're drinking. There's probably like 5 or 6 of us, the regular homies. I'm not going to say no names. But so we're hanging out. And then next thing you know, we see a floodlight and we see light splash and we see police coming. So we got the fuck out of there and ran, and I left the radio. I'm like, fuck that radio. Paul was like, where's your radio? I was like, man, fuck that radio. Let's go. He's like, oh, I got to get the radio. I didn't even look back. I took off. So, and I ran somehow. They went one way. I went another way. And so we split up, and I didn't know what happened to Papo. And then so it was Papo and one other person who shall not be named. I'll just say he's a Florida man. He was recently in the news for a Florida man. That exhibit is. We ain't gonna say his name, but he was present. And so him and Papo went one way. And he followed Papo like a stray puppy. He followed Papo, and then I went with the other homie and the other homies. I remember who I was with us, but it was like 3 or 4 of us went one way, and then Orlando and Florida man, we'll call Florida man, and went the other way, right? And so then I remember I went to Burger King. We're freaking out. We see all these cops, and now they're all over. Like the whole squad is all over where we were just at. So now I'm like, fuck, did they get Papa? Did they get Florida? So and we're looking, and I mean, you would have thought that we killed somebody. The only thing is like, what the fuck? There's like the whole police department out here, and all we were doing was smoking a joint and like drinking a couple quarts of beer, right? And so Now we walked back up. So now we walked up and we're like looking at the police. Like, what's happening? What's going on? You know what I mean? And of course they're like, get away. There's a crime scene or whatever. So now I go to the payphone and I call my sister. And if you've been listening to this podcast in previous seasons, like where I tell you my whole life story, my sister has been my lifeline, time and time again. Like I thank you so much if you're watching this, sister. Like she has been my lifeline, time and time again. Bailing me out of everything you could possibly imagine. So what do? I call my sister. I'm like, all right, we're stranded. Pick us up at Burger King. We're at the Burger King on 34th Street South, like right before you get to the Skyway. And so she picks us up. She takes everybody home. And then we go home, and I'm in the bed. And then the next thing you know, boom, 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 boom. Same people. I'm like, fuck. I pretend like I'm asleep. I hear my dad go answer the door. And all I hear is say, do you know Orlando, Padron, and Florida Man for the really say anything. So and I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, we need to question your son because there's been a robbery. And I'm like, what the fuck, a robbery? So I guess what happened was there's a Denny's right there, at least there used to be. And somebody robbed Denny's and stole the safe and I guess ran in our direction. So when they saw us hanging out, like here we are thinking they're running down on us for, just hanging out, but they were really looking for whoever robbed Denny's. And it just so happened that Orlando was like, I'm pretty sure, now you're going to clear this up for me, but I'm pretty sure that they like jumped the fence. This is right under the interstate and like ran up through the grass and the bushes like towards the interstate, which to the police probably made them think, oh, we got our man. We got our man. Because, if you run, we ran all the time. We didn't do nothing wrong. We see the police would run. This is like kind of instinct. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So then I believe I had to come out and say, like, listen, we were just hanging out. Like, I can vouch that, we were with them. How could they commit robbery? Like, having, you do your fucking homework, leave cameras, like, what the fuck? Right. So that was the one story, which I'll have, Papa tell his side of the story in a moment. But there's another story, and it might not be all that funny to y'all, but it's hilarious to me, and I would never ever forget it. So when I think I was like probably 15, and Orlando was probably like 16, and so I'm like not quite driving yet, but Orlando used to get his mom's car, and it was Dodge Caravan, right?
Dodge Caravan.
It was that old school car, Dodge Caravan. We used to load it up. And we used to go get all the places we shouldn't have. We used to hotbox it up, you know what I mean? Blaze it up with the windows up. And so it was one of those days we were doing this. And if you're watching this globally, we're from St. Petersburg, Florida, south side of St. Pete.
And everyone mild watching.
They'll forgive us, yes. If our mothers are watching. So we would go to this drive-through store, and the drive-through store was like, where we would, at like 12 years old, we can go there and buy beer, and we could buy cigarettes, and I think you're in a car, they'll say anything. And so we go in there, we get our little, whatever we get, our blunts, our beer, whatever it is we were doing. And as we're pulling out, some dude pulls up, and I want to say it was like a box Chevy on rims, and he looks at us, and he had a mouthful of goals, and he's, you know what I mean? He's showing his goals. He's grilling us, right? Like me looking all crazy, right? And I'll never forget, Papo had a mouthful of nacho cheese Doritos. So I'm like all up in his grill, and he looked at the dude and looked crazy as hell. And he just showed him all his Doritos. And the dude was trying to act hard. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he couldn't. No way he could keep a straight face. This man's grilling with nacho cheese. I got a million other stories, but those are the ones that stand out. So now you can go ahead and
Yeah. So you're talking about the underpass one, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
All right. So, and it's funny because a lot of that I don't remember because half the time we're fucked up. So but it all starts to come together. You hear everybody else's story, and this is what happened. This is what happened. You're like, oh yeah, it did happen. Okay. So yeah, I remember we saw the lights. Oh man, shit. I was like, first we're like, what the fuck is that? Or we just can hide, or what the fuck? And now we saw the Padron, it's searching for something, lights going up and down, it's going up underneath the highway, and they're looking for something that's not somebody running their, their bike. I was like, oh shit, all right. And a good thing that they were coming from the other side because our car was parked on the other end. Either way, we were going to be running the opposite direction of the light. So, and then when you let the stereo, I think I went back for it because there was a mixtape on it. And it was Chop and Screw because Chop and Screw. It's coming back.
I remember which one it was, bro.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I want that fucking Chop and Screw.
I remember which one it was. That like Trick Daddy, like 96 Trick Daddy on it. And like,
and we had that shit on repeat. So I was like, no, we're not leaving that. And, because it was hard to get those sometimes. It was like, you had to go to Maximall or this. Maximall was there, and you had to get it done there. And so I ran back for it, and Florida man, attached to the hip, and he's like, ran back with me. I guess, don't leave nobody behind.
Yeah.
And if he wouldn't have came with me, to be honest, if he wouldn't have came with me, I would have ran in y'all's direction. But he freaked out and ran up. And I was like, man, well, I'm not going to leave him behind now. So, you guys went that way. You had somebody with you. So I'm going to go with him. I'll run up the fucking hill with him. And so if it wasn't him, I would have ran in y'all's direction. That would have been fine. I would have made it home.
But I didn't even look back. I didn't even look back.
He ran up. I was like, damn. And I don't remember if there was a fence there or not. But I just remember there's tall bushes. I'm like, all right, they're not going to follow us up on the highway. Follow us up on the highway. Well, we didn't know that they had dogs with them. So they had dogs, and I could hear the dogs, and we're this really high brush, next to the highway, and cars are going, on both sides. I go, they won't hear us here, but you're not thinking the dogs, they can smell anyway, so they're following our set. I'm like, all right, the dogs, and he's, Florida man's freaking out. I'm like, bro, calm down. They're going to find us, but just calm down. Don't freak out because they had dogs. And I do not want to get bit by a fucking dog tonight. It's like, just calm down. And here I am with the damn boo box, and I'm like, damn. And so I hear the cops getting closer and closer. I'm like, all right, hey, I'm going to pop my head up. You just stay down. I'm going to pop my head up. And I'm going to say, hey, we're right here. We're giving up. All right. Don't shoot. Don't let your dog loose. Please. We're right here. This motherfucker, he pops up. He pops up out of the ground. He's like just frantic, just waving his hands everywhere. I'm like, they're gonna fucking shoot you. I haven't even stood up yet. I'm like, they're gonna fucking shoot him. I'm gonna stay down. And started freaking out. So I just got up on a knee, and I kind of put my hands up slow, and just to let them know that I was there too. And yeah, they had the dogs like right in our face.
Didn't the dog fuck him up though? Did one of the dogs fuck him up?
No.
One of y'all, I thought the dog fucked one of y'all up. Okay.
No, not the. He might have said the dog.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
But yeah. So it's like, man, when we stood up like that, it made the cops freak out.
Yeah,
I mean that's just their instinct. They're gonna fucking freak out. They're ready to, you stand up like that and just start waving your hands around. What do you think? And yeah, they're just like, get down, ground, get down. I've never been this. And of course, the biggest dude put his knee on my back and arrested me. And he's like, oh, you guys from Nebraska? This is what I'm like, damn, all we're doing was just hanging out underneath the highway. Like, what the fuck did we do that deserves this kind of treatment? And I was like, man, in the back of my mind, I was like, fuck, like, how the fuck did they find us up here? I just keep forgetting about the dogs. So, they took us and we were on the highway. They're questioning us on the highway. So you got cars, cars going slow, and we're just sitting on the hood. So we're just like, oh man, everyone can see us. It's embarrassing. And I'm like, man, there's people seeing us right now. And somebody from high school is probably gonna see me sit on this hood. And I'm supposed to be a turnaround student and everything else. And they're just like, oh, you robbed at Denny's. And I'm like, Denny's? I'm like, I don't even go to Denny's. Denny's sucks. I don't go to Denny's. And yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I love Denny's. You got a good beat for the eye. But I'm just like, we didn't rob a Denny's. They're gonna figure it out that we didn't rob a Denny's. And I could just see him. He already had issues to begin with. Florida man,
of course.
So he was very, very. His anxiety was just. I can hear him doused because they had him separate over there. Just like, man. So of course they bring us back to the station. We're up till I can't remember how late it was. We were up all night. They're questioning us. about, you know, what were we doing down there. I'm just like, I told him, I was like, we're hanging out, listening to some music. That's why I got a damn boombox. You see, like, why would I rob a Denny's with a boombox? None of them, you like, does this make any sense to you? He's like, oh, we're going to figure this out. I'm like, all right. I don't know if they ever caught the dudes or whatnot. I just know that, there I was like, they're asking us who you're with. And I was like, it was just me and him. It was just me and him hanging out. I was like, oh, it's just you two. And then, of course, he, you know, he said where we were, who we were with. I'm just like, man, all right, what?
Well, that's when they came to the crib. They were like, somebody said that you were with them, and we need you to confirm this story. I remember being hot.
Yeah,
And hey, I went to fuck, bro. Like, and it was late. Like, it was hours later. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I want to say we all left like 1:32, maybe not even. And then they didn't come to the crib until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I was already asleep.
yeah. So to kind of beat around of like not lying, but lying, I said we were with them earlier. I didn't say what time we were with y'all. We were like, because they had to, or you were with, because he started telling me you were with, because obviously, you know,
Yeah, they knew.
white twin, but we were with. And I was like, yeah, we were with them earlier. And that was all I said. And I was like, all right, you know, back then you could be like, oh, I have a lawyer present. But I had to say any of it. But, you know, I didn't do anything wrong. So I didn't feel like I needed to.
Yeah, we were like 15.
Yeah.
Like 15, I was maybe 14. Like, like a year apart.
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, whatever, man. And, you know, of course, they let us loose. Okay, picked me up. And that was that.
Because you weren't even driving then. Aaron was the only one driving. Yeah, my sister. And that's why I had to call my sister.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone was driving the pickup truck. But, yeah. And the Cheeto.
Shout out Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron. And the Cheeto story.
Yeah.
So, man, I think it was like a Cadillac Fleetwood. I remember it was Cadillac Fleetwood days, or the where they put the 24s, 26s on, man. He just came rolling by. So I was looking at his car because it was really nice. And he just, you know, because I was like, man, that's a nice car. And he's just looking at me, and he just like he was mad at me for looking at his car, and just like showed him my teeth.
Yeah, you got gold.
And then he couldn't help it, man. He was cracking up.
Bro, that was hilarious. I'll never forget that. I don't know why. To me, that was so hilarious to me, bro, to this day. Like, I remember.
Yeah.
So, bro, I know you got some stories too. So,
Oh man, let's see. There's a lot, but obviously, you know, our time here. But yeah, it's I would say the funniest moment I had was I think it was a late night. It was a page two. Right?
oh my God. I'm like, I have a feeling I know where this might be going.
And you guys, you Hardwired, you guys just did a show, right? And of course we're always fucking fans. Up. And you know, me being in the military, I came down. What we call it 96. You get 4 days off. Came down and went to page two, and you know, see you guys perform. A great show. We're all twisted up. We got VIP, all fucked up. And I know with you, you know, you don't get fucked up before the show. You used to drink these teas or some shit.
Yeah.
And but after the show, you know, it's all like we're gonna till it's closed. And I don't think it's the same night where you got into a fight with a UFC fighter, but that was a different night. I think those two nights kind of played because it was two show. It was one show and then another show, so those shows kind of blend into what happened. But I remember going home. We were going to your house. Because obviously, you know, I'm coming from out of town, so it's like I'm always either staying at your house or somebody else's house, or if I had a girlfriend at the time, staying at her house. I remember we were on 54 Ave South, I think it was. We were heading to your house, and I think it was when you lived on that beach. It was almost like the waterfront. I forgot where it was, but yeah, we were driving there, and I just remember we were sitting at a stoplight, and I'm just like, I was still awake. I don't know how I was still awake because usually I'm the first one to pass out. So I was sitting there, you know, enjoying the scenery, you know, crackhead walking this way, crackhead walking that way. And we're sitting at a red light. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at it and we start moving. I was like, what the fuck is a red light? Where are we going? Let's look up where it is. And then this, you right here, you got one hand on the steering wheel. You got two hands on the steering wheel and you're just like this and the car's just rolling. Wake up. Like, no. And you're like, what happened? What's wrong? What's going on? I'm like, dude, you're moving. It's a red light. I'm just like, oh God, bro, you wake up. But when you woke up, you were awake. You're like, oh shit, all right. And then you like came to, and you're like 10 and 2. Here we go.
Every single one of the homies, at least from that era, has a story exactly like that with me, bro. I did that. By the grace of God, I'm here today because I fall asleep at the wheel more than anybody. But so I thought you were going to tell a different story, and you made me remember a story.
Oh, man. Are you talking about the UFC fighter?
No, that's a whole other story. I know it's stupid, man. Man, it was a page 2 night. And at the time, I was staying in a little 2-story, but it was at the top. I had the top unit. It was like a tower. I used to open up all the windows when I was in all kinds of stuff. And like, was doing okay out there, at least I thought I was. And I was doing the page 2 promos, and I had the old school Lexus, the 1990 Lexus. And so me and you were coming from page 2, and like you normally do, you passed out, and you were out. You know how you do. When you go out, you can't move this man with a forklift. You can't move this man with a front loader, right? So you were passed out, and then now real quick, not proud of any of these moments. I don't condone any of this. I'm not promoting by any means drinking and driving. I've gone to jail for it. I've had a DUI. It was right around the same time. So I don't condone it. You go to jail, you can get killed, you can kill somebody else. So to clear the record, not condoning it. But this particular night, I was drinking. And I was driving. Fuck. So listen, the spot was right off of 9th Avenue North, right? In like, I don't know, 20th Street, 22nd Street, right? In the back alley, right? And for some reason, I'm looking for the spot. I'm looking at the street. I'm like, I know I'm not that fucked up. The place supposed to be right here. What the fuck does it even look like? Where am I in the Twilight Zone? Did somebody put something in my drink? Like, what's the fuck? And I'm trying to talk to you, and you're out cold. I'm all alone, and it's like February, something is freezing cold. So cold that the heat not even work.
Does get cold.
Ready? Yeah, that's probably like 2 or 3 days a year. And this is one of those years where, like, I believe it was in freezing temperature. So I'm like spazzing out to the point where I get out of my car, I walk up to the string sign, like, am I blind? Man, we're on the south side, not the north side. I'm on 9th Avenue South in 22nd Street, not 9th Avenue North. And I'm wondering, well, this shit look all industrial and shit. What the fuck? But now I kind of spaz because I'm like, I know I'm not close to home. I know I'm more fucked up than I should be, but it was like a sobering moment. So I put it in reverse real quick, and I hit the gas, and I started peeling out backwards. Well, there was a telephone pole right there, and it had one of those cable stabilizers. Yeah. So I don't even know how you remember this if you do.
What?
But the bumper got caught on the cable that holds the telephone pole up.
Yeah.
And the Lexus is pretty heavy, and it's real driving. It had a V8 in it. It had like a 4.6 liter V8 in it. So it got a little bit of power. So I'm trying to go, and I'm stuck. And then I try to go forward, and I'm stuck. And I try to go backward, and I'm stuck. And forward, I'm just fucking up the bumper and the whole side of the car. And then finally, I'm like, fuck this shit. I put it in reverse, and I floor it. And the wheels go, and then all of a sudden, pow, the sky exploded. I thought we died, bro. I swear to God, I thought we died and went to hell because the whole sky was red and there were sparks and flames all over the car. I thought we exploded, bro. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought we exploded. I thought we were dead. There were sparks all over the car. But what happened was the transformer exploded. So from me going so hard on the gas and pulling on the cable, it pulled the telephone pole, it popped the transformer, and the transformer exploded. So now I hauled ass, I got out of there. Hopefully the statute of limitations protects me.
I think it's meant.
So we get back to the spot, and I'm trying to wake this man up, and I'm on the whole time I'm like, bro, you okay? This man, we exploded, we went to hell and came back, and this man knocked the fuck out. And then so I remember we got back to the crib and it's like icy. There's like ice on the windows. I'm like, well, you got to get up. The man would not get up. So I remember I had to go upstairs, get a blanket, turn on you, went back upstairs. It was a wrap. But yeah, that's the story. But no, you couldn't possibly tell that story because you were asleep for all day.
I think I remember it because you told me a few times, and that's like I feel like I was awake for it, but I probably wasn't. Because if I'm out, I'm out. And everybody that knows me, and once I'm out, that's it. You ain't getting me up.
No.
Waking up in so many passenger seats.
No forklift. No. I don't care who you got. So, okay. Now I want to get a little bit into your story. Now I want to know about your life struggle, Orlando Padron, whatever you want people to know, however deep you want to go, however far back. I mean, just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you want the world to know about you, and just a little bit about your history and what made you who you are today.
All right, well, I'll start off by born in Miami-Dade County, and and what's crazy is that growing up in Dade County, I don't know if especially back in the day, it was very, very bad, very bad. And
were you in Alabama?
No, so actually I can't even remember. My memory shot. So all I know is that it was very segregated. So you had a lot of, you had, all black neighborhood, Cuban neighborhood, and you had white. So it's like very, very sick. And I just remember being a kid and just, trying to make friends with everybody. Because I was always about,
like you always,
I like that. I always wanted to be friends with everyone. I think that's
exactly
like where you come from. And and I just remember I got along with everyone. Just my attitude and just being happy all the time. And that native, I got along with everyone. And I remember it's just, we would have these like wars. And it was like this, almost like it was a straight, like how it was separated. It was separated by a field, and it was like different apartments, and we would have rock wars, and it was just like, that's the wars. Nobody would really fight. It was rock wars, and it was like being a bunch of kids just throwing rocks at each other, and they would sometimes it would get crazy and intense, and one thing my mom would always do, she'd always take me to Mexico every summer. So I'd go to school and I'd go to Mexico, which was great. But a lot of times what hurt me is I'd forget English. I'd go to Mexico and completely forget it because you don't talk English at all. And I'd forget English. And I'd come back to the United States and I'll forget Spanish. So it's like my grammar was terrible. And that's the reason why I would fail English every year in high school, whatever grade it was. And so we were in Mexico one time and Hurricane Andrew came, which was good because
while you were there, thank God.
Yeah, because it completely, destroyed the house. And so this what had us move to St. Petersburg. So 9.5, turning 10. So we moved to St. Pete, didn't know anything, and we moved to Coquina Key. So same thing, me being me, I wanted to be friends with everybody. I was like, well, I got to go make friends. Where's the park? Where's the nearest park? And Coquina Key Park, being in Miami, I kind of knew what I was getting into, and being a little older now too. It's just like, well, I know what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna go make some friends. Well, of course, the first day I had to go to the parks, I got to get jumped. I'm just like, oh man. I was like, well, I guess this is initiation. Here we go. I'm only 10 years old getting jumped by some grown kids too. And so the next day, and my mom was, oh, what happened to you? I was like, well, I got no sweat at the park. She's like, well, don't go back there. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to make friends? So next day I went back to the park. I'm like, well, I got to make friends. And next day the same kids were there, and they're just like, all right, come on, go play some, start playing basketball, football, whatever it was. And some of those kids, we actually went to middle school together and went to high school later on. And they'll always tell me that story. I remember when we beat your ass. At the park, we beat your ass. I'm like, I ain't fucking with you now, though. But yeah, it was tough. And then, being raised by, single mom, dad was gone. He wasn't there at all. Barely paid child support or stuff like that. So, we lived, my mom tried her best. And, and that's one thing I was really into was football. And luckily I had two great brother-in-laws. I had Carlos and, Ramon.
Yeah.
Great brother-in-laws are always, looking after me. They're like my dad, and Ruben, obviously my brother. But Ruben was gone all the time. But, if he would have done what he could when he was around. And I remember he caught us a few times doing some stupid.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. So, it's I was always about making friends, teamwork. That's why I was, play football and everything else from, Lakewood Spartans and from Little Mighty Mites all the way to high school, playing football. And, nobody knew, but I actually had a scholarship to go to University of Miami. So nobody,
I never knew that.
yeah, I had a scholarship to the University of Miami. And it helped because even though I didn't know my dad, he actually worked for University of Miami. So that's what kind of got me a foot in, even though me and him never really talked. And yeah, so, and the military was never thought about it. I was like, I always thought it was cool. I always had respect for the military. But what's funny is how I got into it, and it involves you too, from our previous life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, we prank called the recruiter, the Marine Corps recruiter. We prank called him. I was with Florida man, matter of fact. We were in the back his backyard, and I'm like, oh, let's prank call the recruiting officer. I don't know why or what it was. Maybe we saw a poster or something that we thought it was a cool idea to prank call them. But this recruiter was really, really good. He was able to get all my real information from me. It's just like, he's like, all right, you know what? You're young. I'm going to contact you again once you turn 18. You're about to graduate high school. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, remember, this is 2 years from now. And, just remember, it was the check thing. And then we were doing some scandalous stuff and we got caught. And
tell them about the check thing, just so they know. So, because people watch it.
Yeah. Well, this, we're free from whatever.
Yeah, still statute of limitations.
Yeah.
We did all that.
We had, it was a pretty good thing. It was a pretty good little thing we were doing. We were able to, your connect was able to make these checks. And, whatever, easy, free money, whatever, let's do it. Why not? Like, all you got to do is just,
shout out stress, dog.
Yeah.
Ain't no government.
Yeah.
Shout out stress for stopping the statute of limitations. We're cool.
Yeah.
You fucking asshole. You got us all fucked up. Stress. Fuck you, by the way. Sorry, my bad.
I mean,
fuck stress, dog.
I look at that as that changed my life, man. It completely changed my life.
Yeah.
So it was, we threw on some name tags. So I think it was Verizon. What was the other one? They was Verizon and somebody else. You just go to a pawn shop, cash these checks, and just $500. You just give, whatever money to him, and that was it. And I was like, man, that's easy money. And yeah, me being stupid, they had the fingerprint one. Well, you do the fingerprints. And how do they have my fingerprint? Oh, I don't know, because of the stupid Denny's damn story where they arrested me for robbing Denny's when I didn't rob Denny's. So they had all my stuff and they had everything on file, and they were able to trace everything back to me, and actually got the recruiter walked into the office, the same office the detective was in there. He's like, hey, it's like, look, man, he's like, here are your options. Would you rather go into the Marine Corps or go to jail? I'm like, sign me up, man. Sign me up. I'm not trying to go to jail. And that was it, man. And I remember being in boot camp and just being nervous the entire time, because I was like, man, is this gonna, if I don't pass boot camp or if I fail or something, I'm probably gonna have to go back and do fucking time. And I remember being in boot camp, and the drill instructors, they go through your fucking mail. It's already open by the time you get your mail written to. They already got it in their hands. And the drill instructor was like, oh, this is a special one. You should read this one. It was a subpoena to go to court for that. And I'm just like, why am I getting subpoenaed? I'm
the drill sergeant again?
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is a special one, because it was like labeled courts of whatever.
Yeah.
You are summoned or whatever. And yeah, so he's like, oh, it's a special one. You got to read this one. And it was no shit, a fucking subpoena to go to court. And I was just like, oh, man. And then that whole entire 3 months in boot camp, I was nervous the entire time. But no phone calls or nothing. I ended up graduating with honors. I was the guide. I mean, it was pretty cool, man. Like, that completely changed my life, and I loved just being part of that team, being a part of the Marine Corps. It's just funny how I got there,
Yeah.
And ever since then, it was just like I always wanted to do more. You know what I mean? So,
you mean like in terms of the military selection?
Yeah, because obviously when I went into the military, I didn't get to choose my job.
And you were only enlisted at 17, right?
Yeah. So I didn't get to choose my job because it was just, hey, you're going in because you're not going to jail. So you're going to get whatever job you get. And so it's called open contract. So I didn't get to choose my job. So while I was in there, I took the recon and doc, the reconnaissance and indoctrination. That's where you do the test to go to recon, reconnaissance. We go to recon Marine. And then obviously after that, you'd have to go to different schools once you graduate boot camp. But I did that and I was like, I want to do this. It's what I want to do.
Recon, yeah. I remember.
So, but with being open contract and everything else, I had to do my job first, whatever was given to me. And I just remember asking the general something like, what is my job? Does anybody know what my job? Because I didn't know what my job was going to be because you're open contract and you kind of, they go off your ASVAB scores and everything else. And yeah, so once I found out what my job was going to be, I was like, they said, oh, you're going to be a amphibious assault vehicle crewman. I'm like, what the hell is that? What the fuck is that? Amphibious assault. I was like, well, it's amphibious assault. That sounds cool. And I was like, oh yeah, you're in a tank that floats on water. I'm like, well, fuck, a tank that floats on water. I had no idea what the hell it was. Yeah, so that was the first job. But then being in the Marine Corps and, just being who I was, I've always wanted to do nothing wrong with that MOS or what they did, because I did a lot of great things with them. I just felt like I needed to advance. I needed to do something more, do something, cooler, or the cool guy shit, if you want to call it. Yeah, so that's where, I went into the MARSOC, what they call it MARSOC, Marine Special Operations Command, but now they call it Marine Raiders. But yeah, I wanted to advance and just, do something different.
Yeah.
And that's why I went that route. And just being a special operations man, it was a cool, very cool adventure, great journey. It's just but once you get in it, when you're first there, man, it's like, David and Goliath, you're just this little guy and you see giants, dude, it's like you're looking up, you know what I mean? Even though you're the same height, you're looking up because these guys they've done so much crazy shit, and it's like, I'm a part of this team now. How do I stand out? How do I make myself stand out? How do I make myself be like them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've always, one advice I've always given people in the military, and a lot of guys have actually written me even after getting out, and they used it throughout their entire life, is pick something that you like about somebody, their attributes, what leadership skills, or what do you like about them, instill those in you, use those, but don't change who you are, be yourself, but take what you like from different people and try to just put that into your own toolbox, what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah. And the rest is history as far as kids and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so before we get too far ahead, we had another guest on here talk about the benefits of the military and how great it was for just getting them structure and focus, but also the opportunities that you can get in terms of VA loans and benefits and things of that nature. He's going to school and that helps him with that. But, he also talked about, some of the pitfalls of the veterans that kind of get left behind and, the suicide rate. And, I see with what I do in my day job, which I don't really like to talk about out here, but I work with a lot of the elderly, I work with a lot of veterans, and they seem to love the VA and the benefits that they have as a result. But what I'm getting at is, can you talk about maybe some of the pros and cons for anybody? Because the one thing that worked, I kind of grew up, my dad was I come from a military background, and, my family, not to say didn't respect veterans, but we were too, fond of government, so to speak. And not anti-government, just not trying to have government stepping on our neck all the time like they did, and so for me, the military always kind of having this kind of stigma on it, right? But as a younger man and growing up, growing into manhood, and me being one of those people, because my father was away for a lot of my adolescence, even though I had my father and he was in my life, but he was locked up for all from the formidable years, age 7 all the way until age 14. You know what I mean? And so I was constantly looking for role models. and I was finding role models in the streets, and thinking shit was cool and the right thing to do when it was.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I can see if you're, not to say necessarily a troubled youth, but maybe somebody who doesn't have positive influences in their life, and you're living in a community where all these things are going on, and it's so easy to become a product of your environment. And I mean, I can honestly say everything that we've done together and all the things that we've seen and where our friends are today or not even with us today, whether it be drugs, prison, or just out of their minds. Do you really think you would be where you're at today had it not been the military, in terms of, you know what I mean? So it could have gone to bear, you could have been with me, right? And so, and when I say with me, I mean locked up and, in this whole other life, right?
I could have immediately said, fuck that, I ain't going to the military, fucking lock me up.
Or something worse, right? So like I see the benefit in terms of like providing structure, providing discipline, providing order, but also providing role models. Because I'm thinking about this right when you said, okay, I'm looking up to these guys. They're the same size as me, but I'm looking up to them because they're tenured, they're tested, they're proven, they're what I guess the military term would be valid, correct? But I just wanted to have your take on maybe the pros and cons, right? Because I'm sure it's not all good all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So obviously, when you go to boot camp, you learn leadership, discipline. There's a lot of things you learn in boot camp, and it's you working as a team, and just playing football and stuff like that, and just that helped a lot. Just sort of working as teamwork and stuff like that. And, so you do learn a lot of stuff in boot camp. Now it's after boot camp. Now there's people who can excel in boot camp. I've seen guys, be rock stars, but it's what you do after boot camp. So, you can literally get out of boot camp and just be a complete fucking shithead. You know what I mean? And just not do shit. I mean, yeah, you learn all these fucking valuable leadership traits, working as a team, and you can take that with you as you continue with your career. But a lot of guys, what I've seen is they get kind of complacent and they get kind of lazy. And now, as far as that'd be the cons. And the cons is it's your environment, and a lot of guys they get caught up with you do all these drugs. I'm not saying you do all these drugs, but let's say you party a lot before you went to the military.
Yeah.
You smoked, you did all this stuff. What I've seen happen in the military is guys get really hooked on alcohol because that's the only thing that can do, because you get drug tested.
Yeah.
You get drug tested all the time. So a lot of guys, what happens is they fall on alcohol, and it's bad. I've seen a lot of people go down because of alcohol, DUIs, our fights, just and it's
still told was a bar is a different trouble.
And it sucks. Like I've gotten a DUI, and it's
while you're in the military.
While I was in the military. So
they make you hell for you too when you do it.
So it's you call it a double jeopardy or whatever you want to call it, but
they charge into court.
You get fucked twice. Yeah, you get fucked out in town wherever you get it, and then you get fucked in the military. So you get fucked twice, and it kind of sucks on how that works. And you feel like, whoa, I thought the government blanket, I should be punished in the military.
Do you get court-martialed?
It depends on how severe it is.
Court-martial means you're done, right? So you can't get court-martialed and go back to the military.
No.
Okay. That's like
most severe.
Okay.
Most severe. Like, you really have to do something really bad for that. But yeah, I got 2 NJPs. But back to
what was it?
2 NJPs. What's that? Non-judicial punishments.
Okay.
Write-up. Yeah, it's a write-up. You get in trouble, demoted. They use right that you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the cons, as far as, like I said, drinking alcohol is a con. And a lot of times, with deployments. So when I came in, it was 2001, went through all my schools, and in 2003, Iraq, went into Iraq. Now, we've been at war for 20 plus years. You got Afghanistan, you got Iraq and all that. And that's pretty much the guys that have been in during that time. That's all they know. So that's all they know. That's all they're used to. And I've seen guys get out and they don't know how to adapt to society. They're in that mindset where, like, you come out and you expect everyone to look at you like you're a hero. Like, you should give me that because I'm a hero. You should hand me that. People, like, Some guys feel like they should get handed shit.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't work that way. Yeah, you did a lot of great things in the military. You know, you got all these awards. You were, you know, hero, this and that. But at the same time, it's like you got to still go out. When you're a new guy now. You're you know, a civilian. You got to go earn your shit. Now that can help you, you know, with your resume. You put that in your resume, but you still got to go out on the curb. So a lot of guys are in that mental, you know, have that attitude. And then also is this, like I said, the alcohol thing, they get out and with the suicides and stuff, they just can't adapt.
Yeah.
They just can't, they can't, you know, and you would think, I got a family, you know, actually last week, we just had somebody, well, not last week, Thanksgiving, we had somebody commit suicide.
And I'm sorry for like,
And it's just like, you think they got family, they got this, and it's the ones that you never think that would do it, is the ones that actually do it. And you don't know those signs. You know, you got social media and everything else now, you know, blowing up and people that kind of controls their life. But yeah, like I said, alcohol, you're not being able to adapt coming out, especially, and you got guys now that have been in for a long time and there's no more war. You know, there's no more war. So now what we do, we go back to what we call garrison. Going back to garrison is where, like, don't walk on the grass. You know what I mean? Like, you know, walk in a straight line. Mostly, you know, we got into where we like just talk to a person like they're noble. And now we're going back to, like, now you're yelling at dudes and doing a knife hand and sticking your fingers in somebody's face. And you expect somebody that's been around for a long time and, you know, been there, done that, to take that shit. And it's just like, nah, don't fly. And then you got guys are just getting out of the military. Like this season, what kills me is that the guys that have been a long time, they're getting out of the military because they don't want them to do that. So you have all this experience leaving. So you got all these new guys that are just new guys, all the experience from all the combat and all that stuff. They're getting out of the military because they want nothing to do with garrison. They want nothing. There's no more war. So what are you going to be here for, dude? They just don't want that regular military life. And I remember living that military life, and it was terrible. And then, because, you know, from 2001 to 2003, the garrison era, and it was just like, it was terrible. But that's what I was used to. But then once the war kicked off, and then, you know, we're at war for 20 years, and now it's almost like you felt more comfortable being in the military, and you felt comfortable, like, oh, I'm deploying. You're actually looking forward to it. And a lot of guys look forward to it because they're about to make some more money because you get paid more. Because in the military, you don't get paid shit. That's another con. You don't get paid shit. You get paid, now when you're in special operations, you get paid more with each school you go to. You can get extra pay. If you know another language, you can get paid more. I would say that's a pro. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much as far as the cons go. I mean, they're a lot of our cons, especially depending on what job you had in the military. Is that going to help you out in other jobs when you get out? Yeah, you know how to make a bed.
Yeah, how to make a mean a bed.
Yeah, you know how to make a bed.
I can fold, I can roll these clothes, like, what are you going to try?
That, you know, is my job driving, you know, a tank of water. Is that going to help me when I get out of the military? Is that going to help me? Now, if you're retiring and you get retirement benefits and stuff like that, but is that what job can I do when I get out of the military, having that job? You know, a lot of guys that have computer jobs, we're behind a desk, yeah, we make fun, call them fucking pogues and all this other shit, but those are the guys that actually get out and go do IT stuff. They do cybersecurity. They do all the good stuff that pays a lot of good money, you know what I mean? Because when you get out of the military, nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, people thank you for your service, which is great, and I'm always thankful for people that thank me for my service, and I'm always like, thank you for your support. You know, without you guys, you know, it's, you know, but it's more of what are you going to do when you get out? You know what I mean? So it's, it's the transitioning classes have been getting better. So when you get out, you have like a week of, they teach you how to write resume. They put you through these courses where it helps you kind of transition back into civilian life. But at the same time, it's like, that's not enough time, man. It's not, I don't know if it's any longer now. I remember it being like a week, you know, but I don't think that's long.
Bro, the connection, and me and you've been talking about this since we were like 17, 18 when you were fresh in the, no, I had to be probably like 20 because I caught my first case and I went to jail, and you were deployed for the first time, I think, and you were writing me letters in jail from Afghanistan, and I was writing you letters. I think I would send them to your mom or something. Yeah. And like, we just had this interesting connection and like this shared experience because like when you talk, the way you were just talking about like transitioning and then like becoming government dependent, like expecting everything to be done for you and handed to you, like, bro, the similarities between prison and the military, I mean, they're both institutions when you think about it. And sure, I committed crimes, I broke the law, you know, and I was punished, right? And but you, it's a completely different thing. Like, you served your country, you know, did things for your country, you made sacrifices, right? But yeah, because of the institutionalization, right, of both of those kind of realms, so to speak, there's a transition period, right? Like, you're used to the government providing 3 meals every day, right? I'm used to the government providing 3 meals every day. And even though your doors may not be locked and you can walk around, you still can't leave the base. That's where you are. You go to commissary, I go to commissary, right? Your commissary might be a little bit.
No, it's just a lot of the names.
Right? Exactly. You know, you got a chow hall, I got a chow hall, right? And so, you know, I remember us connecting like that in this way, like we're like the rest of the homies that hadn't been through either and don't really get it, you know. And what's interesting is the thing about prison, it's totally up to you. You know, there's nobody's gonna get you right. If anything, motherfucker gets you wrong, you know. But because of the choices that I made in there, I can tell you how many times people have come up to me in my new life, like post prison, like life after feds, and be like, oh, you must have a military background. So, you know, first I don't just say, oh, no, I've been to prison.
Yeah.
but I never thought about that transition because, like, the homie that came on the show, Luis Garcia, if you haven't checked that episode out, you gotta make sure you check it out. But he was talking about like the opportunities that they have for you and like the schooling, the education, the rehabilitation, right? But the way you put it is like it's not that easy, right? And it's like coming out of prison. I mean, shit's bleak as fuck. They actually make it difficult for you to get a job. They make it difficult for you to transition. But there is that transition. You have to get back acclimated to society. But the biggest thing I think for both sides is you both, first of all, you're dependent. So now you're coming home and you're used to being fed, housed. Now you got to figure it all out. And, but you know, then there's also the whole, you talked about people in the military feeling like people owe them when they come home, right?
Yep.
You know, a lot of people look at prison time like a badge of honor. Man, I kept my mouth shut. I stayed solid. I did this time. I ain't rat on nobody. Motherfucker, I ain't telling on you, bro. Let me hold of something.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's just an interesting connection, even though they're two different worlds.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm gonna talk to the audience real quick, and I'm gonna tell them, and if you want to dive into the deep of that, by all means,
yeah.
You know,
Well, so when I say when they get out, when you feel like you're owed something, right? It's more of it's, you know, you get that hero mentality, especially if you've been in combat, you've been in the shit, you've been shot at, you've been shot. You feel like, you know, you do feel like you're owed something. But, you know, like, so a pro is, yes, we do have the VA. We got, you know, we've heard horror stories about the VA, but the VA is what you make it. Because I've had nothing but great things to say about the VA.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about how you make it, because you can come in there. I've seen it. I think Boston is the worst place I've ever been to as far as the VA goes. But with people, the people's attitude, the veterans that go in there, and the attitude that they have. If you have a shitty attitude, you're going to get a shitty attitude back.
Exactly.
Because the people that work in the VA, half of them are veterans.
Exactly.
They're not going to play your games. You know what I mean? They've been there, done that. You know what I mean? They've had to deal with people like you for fucking ever. So it's all about how you make it. Yes, there's shitty VAs where they don't provide the best care, but you can always go to a different VA. You can sign up to a different VA.
Well, and that's life, bro. The attitude you bring to the experience is going to potentially shape that experience. You know, so if you come to it with and like I told you, with the elderly people that I work with, it's hit or miss. You got some people that praise the VA and all the things that they do for them. You know, you go and do all these procedures, get all these tests done, do all these specialists, and you walk away with no bill, right? But then you got the other people that are, all they can think about is the 3-month wait list. Well, it's like, you know what? You could have expensive ass insurance out here in the free market, private sector, you know what I mean? Insurance, and still have a 3-month wait list. I think people don't understand, like, the world's pretty densely populated, and you can't always get what you want right when you want it.
Now, I will say there are some VAs where they kind of just give you what you want. They listen to the veteran, and the veteran might not even know what, you know, and that's when you got guys that get hooked on drugs as far as pills and everything else. And they're like, oh, you need that? Okay. All you got to see is a shrink. Then you see the shrink, and you just tell the shrink, hey, I got anxiety, I got depression, I got this, and that. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Here you go. You know what I mean? And they just get a life supply of drugs. You know what I mean? And the veteran that's not what he needs. He needs something else. He needs actual counseling. He doesn't need drugs. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's something that they need to work on a little bit better too, as far as the VA goes. So.
Yeah, but I mean, considering the load that they have, right? Because
you got guys coming in there all the time.
Yeah, and I heard you can just walk up in there. You don't even have to have an appointment.
Yeah, you don't have to have an appointment, but then
you wait like 3 hours. That's what somebody told me today. Actually, but I'm still.
You're waiting a long time. Yeah, it's better to have an appointment.
Okay. I'm gonna tell the audience a little bit about you, and I want you to fill in the blanks. Orlando has a pretty amazing YouTube channel, Raider World, right?
Raider World.
So real quick, I gotta give a shout out to Raider World. I'm repping the brand, y'all. Right? Papa's gonna tell you all about it. I just want to give my brother his flowers real quick because this man doing what he does for a living, working full time, military, and raising 3 boys. With all the things that he's able to do, like staying connected with family and putting together family gatherings and all this. I mean, the man doesn't have a whole lot of downtime, and then the downtime he does have, somehow he managed to learn how to do modifications on motorcycles. When we were kids, we wanted to ride motorcycles, so I don't know where this came from, right? And I mean, maybe we were riding motorcycles, but somebody probably stole one and we were like dogging it out in the neighborhood. But yeah, so and then like the fact that you built this unbelievable YouTube channel and this whole brand around it, I'm sure our audience would like to know, but I most definitely, because I don't even know how that started. I don't know where Raider World came from. I just know that all of a sudden you became this incredible YouTube presence, man, that teaching people how to DIY, do it yourself modifications on Harley Davidsons, and just some really cool things, bro. So how did that come to be?
So I know before we met in Miami, I did ride dirt bikes here in Costa, and then I was going to do that when I moved to St. Pete, but it wasn't a big scene.
Exactly.
And what I knew, and of course, not having a dad around, that's what's always important, dad just to be in his lives. It's just, there was nothing there for me. Obviously we couldn't afford it. So when I went in the military, I went in North Carolina. I got a little bit into motorcycle in North Carolina, just playing around with them, riding friends, bikes and stuff like that. But I wasn't too committed to it because we deployed so much. We go overseas all the time. And we always had to, whenever you had stuff, you had to find somewhere to store it, and we don't get paid shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, where am I going? I have to pay somebody to store this, or have a friend put it in the garage, and they don't want to do that. So that's a lot of times, I either leased my cars and turned it in before I left, because in the military, you don't lease cars, you can lease your car and turn it in without penalty. So I would lease my cars because I hate paying for storage while I'm gone, and you're gone for 7 to 10 months.
Oh, so then when you go deploy, you just turn the car in and let you come back and give the car.
Yeah. So, you can't do that with motorcycles. You do the cars because you can't lease a motorcycle. I don't think you can. I don't know. But at least back then you could. And so when I went to California, I got stationed in California, that's when I really got into it. I really got into motorcycles. Actually got into a motorcycle club on the San Diego on that. So good. But got into a motorcycle club and then started riding with them. Great. It's only thing I will say about motorcycle clubs is that it's mainly family. You're like-minded people, man, and it's just like you're with veterans, you're with other people that been through some shit and just dealing with some shit. So it's really hard. It was really easy to connect people like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so that really got me to ride bikes. And then I finally committed and said, all right, I'm buying a fucking motorcycle now. Right? So I bought a motorcycle, and I didn't want anybody touching my bike. So I always wanted to work on it.
Yeah.
So everything I've done has always been self-taught. Maybe watch videos or just read the service manual or just learn how to do it myself. A lot of times I fuck up, and then whatever I fucked up, I learned how to fix it. That way, if anybody else had that problem, like, oh yeah, I fucked that up, I'll show you how I fixed it. You know what I mean? And everything was self-taught. So just learning how to work on bikes, and I had found a real passion for it. But never really, wasn't doing videos while I was in California. I didn't do any videos. I was still in the military. So, that's something that was, especially being an organization I was in, being in special operations, we weren't allowed to have, you were allowed to have social media, but it was very frowned upon. So nobody had, we didn't have Facebook, didn't have Instagram, a lot of stuff wasn't out yet, but we weren't allowed to have any type of social media or post anything, any pictures or anything like that.
No MySpace.
You say in the MySpace, yeah. So it was very frowned upon of, having any kind of social media. So I didn't post anything. I just worked on bikes and just, and when I came to Florida, finally, I left California, came to Florida, and then, I was riding around Florida. And like I said, I moved from St. Pete to where I live now. I got into that really bad motorcycle accident. Yeah. And I remember being in the hospital and just laying there. I'm just like, man, I didn't know if I was going to ride again. I didn't know if that's what it's like, man, I got 2 kids and I got one on the way. Do I really want to keep riding? It's especially in Florida, it's a whole lot. In California, people are so used to motorcycles there that they even make the lanes wider so you can split the lanes. In Florida, there's no splitting lanes.
It's a safe place for budget.
A lot of old people who just don't, but in California, everywhere you turn, there's a motorcycle. So you're so used to bikes and so accustomed to bikes that you can see you're looking for them. People are more cautious, more aware of motorcycles. Here, it's like, I don't see as many bikes as I would see in California. You see bikes here, but not as many. Even though there's supposedly there's a lot of people, right? So I was moving, back to the house, got hit, was in the hospital, and I was, contemplating on whether or not I was going to ride again. And it was just one of those, like, if I give this up, this is something that I love, it's really going to hurt. It's really going to hurt me. And I was in the hospital. A lot of people don't know is that I lost memory. Like, there's a lot of shit that I don't remember. When I was in the hospital, I couldn't remember what happened. I forgot that I knew I was in the military, but I forgot what I did. Like, it was bad. I had brain bleeding on one side, a bunch of stuff, leg got messed up. You guys came to visit me, you guys saw. And I was just, I made that decision. I was like, well, if I give this up, I don't know, what am I going to do with myself? You know what I mean? And I was doing the government contracting thing, going overseas, and that really, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that again because the doctor was telling me I wasn't going to be able to walk right. So I wasn't going to be able to do the contracting thing anymore and make money to provide my family. So it was really nerve-wracking. I didn't know what was I going to do. And I decided in the hospital, I was like, no, I'm not giving up riding. Because if I give this up, who knows what might happen. You know what I mean? I never am I ever thought about suicide or anything like that. But that, like, what am I going to do with myself? Like, I felt myself like I would get really.
So this is like your newfound passion. Yeah. Found something like this to you look forward to when you're not working.
Yeah, this is going to be, this would put me in depression if I didn't keep riding because I just loved it so much. And then I was looking through YouTube and I was trying to find videos on what bike I wanted to get, and I already told ex-wife now. I told her, I was like, I'm gonna keep riding. I was like, do you support that? They're like, yeah, my family didn't like it so much, obviously, but she supported it. So I was like, all right. And I was just looking through YouTube, trying to find a bike, and I realized, man, these fucking videos suck. All these guys doing YouTube on these, because it wasn't that I was looking for a bike. I just kind of got in the YouTube rabbit hole of just searching for bikes. And I was like, man, these guys fucking on YouTube suck. And I mean,
they got and they got followers.
Yeah, and they got followers. I'm like, well, not all of them on the site, but the majority of them did. And it's just like, man, and I was sitting there thinking, and I was trying to look at bikes, pictures of my old bike and videos of my old bike. I had barely any of my old bike. I'm like, you know what? If this, just in case if this was to ever happen again and it went really south and I, died in a motorcycle accident, I want to see, I'm going to keep riding, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to record everything that I do to the bike. I'm going to record everything I do to the bike. And that way, if something does happen to me, the kids can go on YouTube and see their dad working on the bike.
Yes, I'll go good.
I love it. William had it working on a bike.
So this was a passion project.
Yeah.
It's never intended to be like a channel. It was
No, it was just supposed to be for my kids, something for my kids to watch, man, you know, if something was to ever happen, or just to watch dad work on his bike, you know. And that was the whole passion behind this whole drive. And all of a sudden, it's just, you know, I posted a couple videos. I watched my old videos now. Man, those things suck too, but those videos they liked. There was companies out there that thought it was professional, and they thought, you know, I said, I'm not going to curse in my videos because my kids are going to watch this. You know, and I don't want my kids to, you know, want to just be professional about it, especially being in the military. And back to the military, in naming the channel Radar World, and why I named it Radar World.
Yeah.
I was actually overseas, and I was like, well, I couldn't think of a name to call it. And my club name in California was Raider, and they called me Raider. So like, oh, Raiders World. And I don't know why, but I was just like, oh, I always call it Raiders World. And I was really nervous about it because I was expecting a lot of judgment and criticism by my old fellow teammates, or people just talking shit. You know, I mean, people that I worked with before, like, oh, what the fuck? Why you call it Raider World? Or, you know, I was nervous about that. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, man. If you respect it, you respect it. If you don't like it, then don't fucking watch it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm gonna do me, and I'm just gonna call it that because honestly, I couldn't really think of anything else to call it.
Yeah.
I was like this, and it just stuck in my.
But this is the first time I've been knowing this, you know, right to the shirt, right in the head, right?
Yeah.
And I never knew that they called you Raider. That's what they called you in Cali, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what because you get a club name, you join a club, you get a name or whatever, and that was the club name that I was given. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just use that because I didn't know what the hell I was gonna call it. I'm not, you know, I didn't know shit about YouTube, but this was just for my kids anyway. It wasn't like I was trying to be a star or anything like that, or you know, chase any kind of sponsorships. And yeah, I just was doing it just because I was gonna buy this shit anyway. I put it on my bike and I saw it went on video. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then all of a sudden, these companies started hitting me up, and I was like, damn. I was like, I didn't think it was that good, but okay. But you obviously you're always gonna judge. You're gonna be the biggest judge of your own work.
Yeah.
You can be like, shit, I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's that great. But yeah, that was it, man. And I always told myself, I was like, yeah, once I started to get more sponsors and, you know, the channel started to grow, it took forever to go. So if you're starting a YouTube channel, don't expect it to just blow up right away, unless you have a viral hit and it just blows up. Those are very one in a million, you know what I mean?
So tell us about that ground zero, bro, and what that's like. And then if you can, like, when did it finally start to pop? Like, when did you get your first sponsor? How did that pan out?
So I remember it took me, man, when I first edited my first video. Now there is the fairing spoiler from Harley Davidson, the fairing spoiler. I saw that there was I looked for videos on it, right, to see if there was any videos on it, and there was 0 videos on this video. I was like, oh, if I make this video, it's going to be a hit, right? I was like, because there's no videos on this installing the Harley Davidson fairing.
That's dope, bro, that you did that research.
So I did that video first, but man, it took me, man, over 2 weeks to edit that video because I was just trying to make it perfect. And I wish I knew what I know now and how to edit because I've gotten a lot quicker in editing. And this was during COVID because, you know, it's 2020. This is during COVID and we were actually in quarantine. So I actually had time to sit there and edit videos.
So that's when you really kicked off, right, in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. It was November 2020. And I was so nervous when I was going to hit post because I was not nervous about the video itself because I, you know, it was a good video, at least in my eyes. And I was, you know, big critic of my own work, but still I was more nervous about what other people would think. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what are my 4 teammates would think? Dude, like, oh, this dude's fucking doing YouTube videos. What the fuck? He's doing the whole social media thing now. And it was just like, that's what my biggest concern. What was my former teammates got to think of me doing this shit? So I said, fuck it. And I hit that post and I was just sitting there watching to see how many views, you know what I mean? And I just kept refreshing. And it was like the most painful thing ever. And I was like, man, this is crazy. It's taking forever. And it wasn't about like, I just wanted to see if anybody that I knew would comment. And it wasn't, you know, because like I said, I wasn't chasing stardom or nothing like that. It was,
so this is your very first try.
It's my very first video. And I was just nervous that somebody that I knew was going to say something on it. And that's what I was nervous about. I wasn't nervous about, how many views it was going to get. It was going to blow up, all this other shit. Like in the back of my mind, like, yeah, it'd be cool that I need to get a lot of views on it and whatever. But it was just like, it was painful, man. And then I think it took, that saying that one video, because I couldn't had other videos in the editing process. And like I said, it took me forever to edit a video.
Yeah.
So that one video was out for, I think, like 3 weeks before I posted my next one. And it was just like, it took a while. And it wasn't, I wasn't worried about the subscriber thing or anything like that. It was more of, I was waiting for somebody to comment. I was more worried about when other people hitting and shit. Hey, like, how am I
know that feeling though, bro.
like, how am I going to react to that? And because, it's like, I'm going to be professional about it. I'm going to, if somebody writes something stupid, which people always do, they write something stupid and I'll write with a professional comment right back, But yeah, it was just, it takes forever, man, especially like any advice for people going from zero to whatever you're shooting for, what your goals are. It's just like, it's a process, man. It's and feel a lot, especially in the motorcycle community, people will watch your videos, but they won't subscribe. They'll watch your videos and they're like, oh, yeah, I've seen guys like, hey, I've seen your video, man. They're awesome. Like, are you a subscriber? They're like, oh no, but I'll subscribe next. I'm like, you have to hit subscribe. You got to hit subscribe because it's not about, it's a YouTube algorithm. It's not about, oh, you better subscribe to my YouTube channel. No, it's about if you get subscribers, YouTube, that algorithm, it's gonna show YouTube magic and YouTube kung fu. It's gonna tell YouTube, oh, this people like this video. People are subscribers to this channel. Let me push it out to more people. And if it's good content, then it's good content. But yeah, it's definitely it's one of those things. It's like, well, it's all about the YouTube algorithm, man, and knowing how to work it. Some people are really, really good at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, so when did you kick off the website? Did that come like with the YouTube channel? That came a little
Padron Select website?
Yeah.
Oh, so the clothing brand was because COVID happened, and I see a lot of people started doing it. Once I thought of it, I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to just start some clothing, and there's a lot of, I would do my own clothes anyway. Like in California, I had a company that would print on some clothes. I designed some stuff, and people would like it and be like, oh, do you have another one of those? I'm like, no, I just made this for me. So I was like, well, I might as well make a website, just start dropping some clothes on there. And I was during COVID and everything else, so I can go anywhere. And then what I realized is a lot of people started doing that. Working from home, people started like, well, what can I do? I'll just sell some clothes or have some stuff made. So it was just really one of those things. It was like, well, it was one of those, good idea things, and it's something I probably should push more, but I feel like I keep pushing my stuff on people.
You ever push it though? Because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
So like, because I got merch in the works, I got a website in the works. It's still under construction. I've told people about it, but it's not anything that I'm like proud of right this moment. I just get there, and I'm proud of the concept, but it needs a lot of work. And all I could think is, as the platform grows, the audience grows, I keep the content coming. Like it's the perfect opportunity to share what I have going on and what people can do to get involved. And if, I'm rocking a t-shirt and they like it, I could tell them where to go get it, right? Do you ever do that with your...
I don't, and I always tell myself I should.
Yeah, that's...
Because I've had people write me direct messages. They'll write me directly like, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Like,
yeah.
Shirts, and I'll send them to the website and I'll go and buy it. So I don't actively promote it on the channel or anywhere else. Sometimes I'll post it on Instagram. I'll post videos here and there, but not as somebody because that's not my main focus. My main focus is not my merch or anything like that. It's just kind of like a side thing, It's
because you're getting sponsorships, right?
Yeah, so it's more a side thing, and I should push it more, but I just don't.
So can you tell us a little bit about how the sponsorship popped off and like where you had to be at in terms of followers, subscribers?
So I honestly, my thing was, I'm not going to worry about subscribers. I'm not going to worry about views.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to make these videos.
Right.
Just keep and it's like, I had my thing where I'm just going to do install videos. Some guys do, they do, lives, they do podcasts, they do all kind of stuff. But I looked at what can I handle at this moment. So, I go overseas all the time. I have 3 boys I got to take care of when I'm home. So what can I handle? I don't want to overload myself because that's, like I said, kind of getting off track, but since I have it in my mind right now, is what I've seen a lot of guys do is that they get really stressed out and they get depressed and they get into this thing where I'm not getting subscribers, I'm not getting followers, because that's their main focus is the YouTube thing. And it's like, I don't want it to be such an overload where I'm like stressing about it. I don't want it to turn it into something that I hate. I love working on bikes. I love doing installs. I love helping people out. Like, hey, this is how it should be done, or this my advice, my tips and tricks. But I don't want to overload myself where I'm stressing myself out, and my stress is carrying on to my job or is carrying on to my kids. So I try not to overload myself. And yeah, the sponsorships, they email me directly. I know Hogwarts hit me up first. And honestly,
So they reached out to you. You didn't reach out to them.
No, I didn't reach out to anybody.
Where do you think you were in terms of followers by the time they hit you? So they had to see something.
I think I was at least over 1,000.
But not much over 1,000.
Not much.
So when you started, would you think that was a magic number for you, 1,000?
Maybe.
And I know you're not that worried about the number. I'm just thinking of terms of like.
So I think once the sponsors see, like, let's say a company sees your videos, they're going to see where you're headed. If they watch your video and they see, okay, this guy's putting out good content, he's actually taking time to edit his stuff and, make it look good, he's going to eventually evolve and get better.
Yeah.
And as time goes, it's going to get better. And even though this video might be 3-4 years old, it's still going to be new to somebody when they watch it now.
Exactly.
So even though the video is 3-4 years old, that product still exists. So somebody buys it 4 years later, they're going to go back and watch that video 4 years ago. So even though that video might have got 100 views in the first 2 months, all of a sudden you go back and you search through your old videos and you're like, man, there's 70,000 views on this video. I only had, 30 something views in the first month.
Did you have any take off like that for you?
I had a couple, I think I got 3 that go over 100. But like I said, I don't even go back. I did go back and watch my first video just so I could remind myself where I came from, or where I started.
Yeah,
where I started. Because, man, I was nervous. I was very nervous. I didn't know, especially being in front of a camera and talking to a camera, what are people going to think? And it sucks because you don't want, we can always say, I don't shit what people think. But at the same time, you also don't want to come off as somebody that knows something that they don't know what they're talking about, especially when it comes to installs. You want to know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? And me just working on bikes and doing having my own tips and tricks and stuff, and just, it can be different from somebody else. You know what I mean? So just seeing what judgment was going to come my way, but not a lot of negative stuff.
More love than hate.
More love.
But you did get some hate.
Yeah, I got
anything funny like that. I knew you didn't.
It's we call them the keyboard ninjas.
Yeah.
The people that sit behind a laptop ain't got nothing better to do. Probably like living in China somewhere. But yeah, they say it's just pretty funny. I was just responding. I always respond to something funny. I don't ever, say anything negative to them. I'll just be like, hey man, well, why don't you do a video and show me how it's done? Or, just tell me, like, what do you think I should do? And they never respond to that. But, it's just having a good attitude about it. And because I've met other YouTubers, I've met other YouTubers, and their attitude on camera and their attitude in person is totally different. It's just like, so, when you meet your hero and it turns out to be a fucking idiot.
Yeah, man. That's just like people that I thought, singers,
rappers, just totally different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's anybody that I've met, it's just like have met me talk about my channel, like, oh, thanks, man. And I always trying to have a good attitude about it. 'Cause that's just always been me. I was always trying to have a good attitude about stuff.
Yeah, I know for sure.
But yeah.
So, okay, you gave a little bit of advice in terms of like, don't let up, keep pushing, like, don't get discouraged by no numbers. Don't even look at the numbers. Like I always drop Joe Rogan. I'm like a huge Joe Rogan fan, but I talk about him a lot because he's like the podcast guru. Like, he's the podcast guy. $300 million contract with Spotify. It doesn't get any bigger than that in terms of podcasting. But Joe Rogan would always say, don't read the comments. Like, that's his famous thing. He doesn't read the comments. I mean, I don't know if I'm not going to say I disagree.
He probably does them as it runs his own thing
You know, but like my thing is when you're early and you're starting, I mean, isn't engagement pretty safe?
Engagement is really good. So YouTube also counts that in as far as people engaging with your video, the likes, the shares, you commenting on somebody else's comment. That's why when I comment back to someone, I'll do a question mark to say, hey, what are your thoughts? What do you think I should do? What do you?
Yeah, to create a
conversation. And you create that conversation and it builds, okay, people are engaging with this video through the comments. Yep. So, I mean, that also helps. But it sucks because I think I put out way too much information in my videos as far as installs that nobody ever had any questions. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I like helping people out. I want people to actually see what I'm doing because there's a lot of videos out there where people are working on the bikes. You can't even tell what they're doing. You know, they got the camera. Can't even see what they're doing. See, I try to, you know, when I record video, what should take me only, you know, for an average person to install would only take 2 hours. It takes me 8 hours to install this because I am moving the camera 15, 20 different times so you can actually see what I'm doing, getting into where my hands are. That's why mainly in my videos, you only see my hands. Because what you need to see my face for, unless you're doing something else. But for me, you're just trying to see what I'm doing. So you want to see how this part is put on, and then you want to see what it looks like before and what it looks like after, and how does it perform. So that's why mainly it's like my face in the video, the intro and then the outro, pretty much. But the comments you definitely want to engage. No. Yeah, I mean, Joe Toby didn't engage with anybody by asking like that, or, you know, runs his stuff. Yeah, you know, once you reach that level, man, you got marketing team, you got people running all your stuff, all your social media. So you're just sitting in the chair, you do your thing, and then go home, and then somebody else is editing your video, somebody else is running the comment section, you know, which is great on them. They you know, they did what it had to take to get up there. So
yeah, absolutely, they earned that, right?
Yeah, I would love to have a marketing. You know.
I was talking to somebody earlier today, and we were talking about how, you know, some people get big, and then now they got money, and then they kind of get lazy, and they just hire somebody to do it, but they don't protect the brand, and then the brand starts to change. You know what I mean? And if you notice, and that's not the same. It's like not even the same person. It's like not even the same content. So you can tell you outsourced it. Yeah. You know. So okay, I know you got a lot going on, bro. So I just want to make sure, you know, we got this audience, and like, I'm curious as to what you have in the works, like what you want to share, what we can expect from you in terms of, you know, Raider World Select, just general content, you know, I mean, call to action, like what can this audience do to find you? Where can they find you? What can they expect from you? Like, tell us what you got cooking, bro.
All right. So obviously, if you've been watching the Raider World YouTube channel and, you know, Raider World Inc., try to do the Raider World Instagram, but I already took it.
Oh, but
I know, right? So I just kept it Raider.
So what's the IG?
Instagram, Raider World Inc. So
Raider World INC.
Yeah.
So just Raider World INC. At Raider World INC. Y'all hear that? At Raider World INC. RAIDER. Wait. At RAIDERWORLDINC.
Yep.
Okay. What else you got?
Yep, that'd be the Instagram. I don't have TikTok. Facebook. I barely go on Facebook. So pretty much the two main platforms I'm on are Instagram and obviously YouTube.
And then how's it find you on YouTube? Just Raider World?
Yep, Raider World YouTube. You'll see a bunch of Raider World actual like video game stuff on there, but I'm usually the top one that's on there. And then obviously you can go on the Raider World Select website if you want to purchase some merch. I got some other stuff.
What's the Raider World site?
Raider World Select.
www.raiderworldselect.com. www.raiderworldselect. You can call. I'm saying they got to know that everybody can spell these things. They might put candy or something, you know what I mean?
I like get those letters that you put at the bottom words.
That's right. I need to go ahead and sure they work on my edit game, right? I need to seriously thinking about.
I do have some stuff in the works for merch. Again, some new stuff come out in January.
This Raider World drip.
Yep. The sweatshirts are pretty much sold out right now. The Raider World sweatshirt, okay, sold out. They have like a couple XLs and double XLs left. But then I have some new stuff coming out as far as, I don't know if you've seen the Suffer in Silence shirt that I did a while back. A lot of people were asking about that. They just didn't like the color that I came out with. It was like a mustard color. But I just tried to check different colors. People were asking for it in black and white. So I have black and white coming out. And then I'll also have a sweatshirt coming out in January, first week of January.
And this is on winterworldselect.com.
Yes. And I'll post it on Instagram and stuff like that on the stories, and you guys will see that. But yeah, just some new merch here and there. Like I said, I don't do too much merch for, you know, the Raider World stuff. I got a lot of designs on there. There's still some stuff on sale. Tank tops are on sale. So whenever stuff sells out, I'll just go and make more stuff.
Yeah.
So, and all that stuff I design myself. I draw it up myself. So I don't have anybody else do it. I take it to a company in St. Pete or Pinellas Park, and they do it over there at T-Shirt Labs. So big shout out to T-Shirt Labs. They do a very good job. It's all screen print. It's not got stuff that's going to fall off for you, fall off your stuff in the dryer.
And that's a veteran-owned and operated business as well, right? Yeah.
So you'll be supporting them, because if I sell out of stuff, I go make more stuff. So supporting two companies.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Everything else, it's going to take time. Everything's going to grow. But yeah, I'll plan on putting myself in debt, like some people can put themselves in debt to get that, stardom or that, that fame. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yes. No, I love it, bro.
More videos coming, because I do have that, the bike that's getting worked on right now. Hey, you guys still watching that?
And do you have a set time and day that you do it? Or you're supposed to?
So I do it when I do it. And that's what I tell the companies that do sponsor the channel. I said, hey, this video comes out when it comes out, because I have so many other videos in line that, that I have, when you send me it, it gets put in that queue.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Unless it's something that's like really easy, you just plug it in and that's it. But if it involves anything with the stuff coming off the mic, it's going to get put in the queue, and that's how it works. So some people will send me some stuff and it won't get done in 2 months. Unfortunately, that's just.
But it's gonna get done. That's all.
But again, other than you're gonna get a very professional video out of it. So yeah,
that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
So okay, RaiderWorldSelect.com, and then Raider World Inc. on IG, right? So we learned about Orlando. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Make sure y'all check out his website. Make sure you check out Raider World YouTube channel. It's pretty amazing. Even if you're not into, motorcycles and modifications, it's just a real cool channel. He does fun stuff. Like, he'll have his kids on there doing cool stuff sometimes, and it's just a fun channel. But like, the way I look at it too, and I actually sent somebody your way one time, because it's like, if you're anybody that's trying to go for something, you're trying to be a content creator and you're trying to do something. I mean, I know people that got, degrees in film, and, they work in the industry, and they don't have the traction that you have. And here this man is self-taught. Nobody showed him how to do a modification on a bike. Nobody showed him how to edit a YouTube video. Nobody showed him how to post it. YouTube University, baby. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're trying to go for something and you're not interested in all that, I mean, check out this man's channel, because he drops jewels out here. And if you just pay attention to what he did and how he did it, that could potentially inspire you to, push your channel, your brand, your content. Before we wrap things up, man, I just want to make sure, if you don't have any closing remarks, like, I would love for you to maybe share something, because this podcast is all about holding on to your dreams despite challenges, despite setbacks, despite adversity, right? And giving your gifts to the world before it's too late. This is the Live Struggle Legacy podcast. So in closing, is there anything that you want to say to the people in terms of like inspiration, motivation, anybody that's trying to go for something, whether it is content creation, whether it's a job, whether it's just trying to make it through another day, man?
Yep.
What you got?
What I would say is, don't change who you are. Always pick, if you have somebody you look up to, or different people you look up to, choose those best things that you like about them, instill them into your own self, as far as, leadership traits, whatever it might be. Use those, but don't change who you are.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing. You have those set goals, but always know that those goals are always going to change. They're always going to shift. Something might happen, something in life, it's life, things will change. But always have those goals. The big rock story, the big rocks, the rocks, and, the jar of sand with the rocks and stuff like that. When you maybe feel too many things going on at once. Just know how to manage it. Don't overwhelm yourself. Know what you can handle. Don't try to chase. I'm not saying don't chase the dream, but just know what you can handle, and be, because if you can't handle that, you're not gonna be able to, handle that big start if you do get there. Learn how to manage it.
Yeah.
And it's all about time management and just knowing yourself and what you can handle. Don't stress yourself out, and just keep chasing the dream. Keep chasing that dream, and whatever dream that might be. And like I said, you can have multiple dreams. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
But work that plan.
Yeah, work it. Have a plan. Set a schedule. Use that time you have. But don't. While you're in that process, don't forget about the family. Don't forget about your loved ones. Don't forget about who really matters to you the most. Don't let that be so overwhelming that it gets in the way of all that and it stresses you out, and you take that and put it on them when they have nothing to do with it. That's just you putting too much on yourself. So just know how to manage it. Just be you. Even people are going to criticize, people are going to judge. Just know that that's just life. Just take it how it goes, and that's it.
Be yourself.
Don't be yourself. Yeah.
I love it, man. Listen, bro, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you could have been doing a lot of different things. I know you got a lot going on, and you made it all the way out here, bro. I love this, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. And there you have it. Orlando Padron, Raider World Select. Make sure you search YouTube for Raider World. Make sure you search IG Raider World Inc. That's INC. www.raiderworldselect.com. It's Live Struggle Legacy. If you haven't already done so, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, the notification button. Drop a comment. If you're listening on a podcast platform, drop us a review. Hit that follow button. Hit that notification button. If you're looking for sponsorship of your business, holler at me. We will promote your brand, maybe even bring you on the show, do a little snippet. I could do a commercial. Just holler at me, man. As this platform grows, we can help your business grow, and we're all about networking. If you want to potentially get on the podcast and interview, man, you can drop me a DM. I do a little brief screening, but if you got a story to tell and you think it's worth sharing, come share on this platform, yo. I appreciate y'all checking in. Live Struggle Legacy, Raider World Select, Orlando Padron. We building pyramids, y'all.
Live Struggle Legacy. It's a whole movement.